Hey everyone, I'm Nick, and welcome to another episode of Software Development with C++. So in this episode of the series, we're going to be talking about debugging our C++ applications with GDB, the GNU debugger. So over the course of the past few videos, we've been looking at different ways that we can debug our applications. So specifically, we looked at debugging memory errors with both valgrind and address sanitizer. Now, another kind of debugger that we can use is GDB, right? So on the right-hand side of the screen, I've got some of the documentation for GDB up, and it says that GDB, or the GNU project debugger, allows us to see what's going on inside another program while it executes, or what another program was doing at the moment it crashed, right? So this makes it an incredibly useful tool when debugging our programs. And one of the also one of the nice things about GDB is that we can test fixes kind of on the fly. So let's go ahead and take a look at and see how we can use GDB in a couple different circumstances and some of the useful pieces of functionality. Now, of course, we're not going to be able to go through all of GDB today and all of the great features, but we'll give some of the kind of high-level useful details. So starting off with, we'll open up our first example here, which will be this zeroerror.cpp. And this example should look somewhat familiar. We've seen it in our past few videos, right? For both valgrind and address sanitizer. So here we just have a simple example of a double free inside of our code. So here, right, we allocate some memory for two dynamically sized arrays here. So these, float arrays A and B here are both going to have 1024 floats. Then with our random number generator, we generate some random numbers for these arrays. We do vector addition, and then we try to free our memory. But maybe because of some copy-paste error, we end up accidentally freeing one of our arrays twice here. So we call delete on A twice. So let's see what happens when we run this program after we compile it, and also how we can debug it with GDB. So here we'll go ahead and quit out of there, and we'll compile zeroerror.cpp with -g to help out with debugging. Now, if we go ahead and just run this directly, you can see it gives us some information. So it says, double free or corruption, but really not much else here, right? It doesn't really tell us where we're crashing in our program or why, or at least, specifically why. It tells us that we have maybe some double free or corruption, but we don't really know where that's happening inside of our program. So let's go ahead and rerun this with GDB and try to debug this. So we'll go ahead and do GDB and run zero error. And you can see that GDB starts up, right, and it reads the symbols for zero error, but our program actually hasn't started yet. To get a program to run, we can do R, or we can fully specify run here. So let's go ahead and run our program, and you can see that we run through, and then eventually we hit this double free or corruption, right? And our program received this signal SIGABORT. So let's go ahead and see, what was kind of happening when we got this signal, this SIGABORT here. So it says we're currently in this, pthread kill implementation here. But a very nice thing we can do is we can run backtrace, right? Or just abbreviate it to BT. And this will tell us how we got to this point inside of our program. So we can go ahead and run BT, and it gives us a bit of a history, right, of our calls here and how we got to, where we are right now, starting from where we are, going all the way back to where we came from. So we see that where we came from is actually some part of our main function here in zeroerror.cpp, and specifically it's line 29. And you can see from that part in our code, we called this libc free followed by int free, and then something happened where we end up getting to this malloc print error, and that's what's printing out this double free or corruption, right? And then we ended up getting to raising this SIGABORT. So let's go ahead and debug this a little bit further with GDB, right? So we know that something weird is going on at line 29 in our program. Let's go ahead and tell our debugger that we want to stop at this point in our program before whatever is there actually executes. And the way that we can do that is through a breakpoint. So we can specify break and then a file name and line number that we want to stop at. So for example, I can say break zeroerror.cpp on line 29. And this will set a breakpoint at line 29 of our file here. So when we get to that point, right, inside of our code, our debugger will stop our program for us. That way we can inspect our surroundings. So we can also get information about breakpoints by just running, info breakpoints. So you can see that we have a single breakpoint here at zeroerror.cpp line 29, which is in this main function. Now to rerun our program here, we can just specify R again or run, right? So if we just specify R again, it gives us a little warning saying the program being debugged has already started. Do you want to start it from the beginning? We'll just say yes or Y. So now you can see that when we run our program again, instead of just immediately failing with that double free, now we're stopping at our breakpoint here. So we hit our breakpoint 1, which is at line 29 of 0error.cpp. And it tells us that this is a call to delete here for some array. Now we can also use list here to get some information about what's going on inside of our program. So we can just run list and we can see, bits of our source code here. So around line 29 of a program, we can see that just before that, we had our previous call to delete here, right, for A, right? And so we know that at line 29 of our program, it's this delete of A that's causing our problem, this double free, right? If we continue past this point, so if we just run continue, we can see that we get this double free or corruption here. So that's where our bug is. Okay, so that's a bit about this initial kind of debugging. So we can use things like backtrace to get kind of a history of what was happening in our program, or how we got to where we are in our program during that crash. We can use things like breakpoints to stop at certain points in our program to get used to our surroundings and see what was going on in our program whenever we crashed. And we can use things like list to actually see our source code. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a slightly more interesting example that we can debug and show off some other features of GDB. So we'll go ahead and quit out of here. So we'll just say yes to debug this interactive session. And then we'll go ahead and go to our oneerror.cpp here. So in this example, right, we're creating another random number generator. And what we're going to be doing is adding numbers to this integer sum here. So in this infinite loop here, while true, we'll get a divisor from a random number generator. And then we'll add to sum 10 modulo whatever the divisor is. And as soon as sum is greater than 200, we'll break out of this loop and print out sum. Now the bug in this program comes from our random number generator. Our random number generator can return 0, which means that this modulo divisor here can be modulo 0, which will lead to a zero division error or some arithmetic exception. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like from compiling and running our code. So quit out of here, and we'll compile oneerror.cpp again with -g, and then we can run oneerror. And what we see is our program doesn't actually crash all the time. This is a non-deterministic error, right? If we get unlucky and a random number generator returns 0, right, our program crashes. But if it doesn't return 0, our program actually completes just fine here. So this is kind of an interesting case to debug here. So let's go ahead and rerun this program with GDB and start our debugging. So we'll just run GDB and we'll run oneerror. And then you can see everything starts up, and then we can do R to run our program. And you see the first time we run it, nothing interesting happened. It just completed successfully. So we can rerun this a couple times using R, and eventually we get to a point where we hit our arithmetic exception here, right? So sum plus equals 10 mod divisor. This led to some sort of problem here. Now, just like last time, we can use list to get used to our surroundings inside of our program. So when we do list, we can see exactly what was going on inside of a program at this point. So we can see that we got our divisor here. Then we did, 10 modular divisor and tried to add that result to sum. And that's what led to our arithmetic exception here. Now, another nice thing that we can do in GDB is we can print out the value of some of our variables here. So for example, I can just run print with sum here, and it'll tell us what our value of sum is at this point in our program. So it's currently 90. And then we can also do something like print out our divisor here, right? And we see that, oh no, our divisor is 0, right? That's why we're getting this arithmetic exception here, right? We're doing 10 modulo 0 here. So we can print out some information about variables inside of our program. All right, so now let's think about how we can, maybe more easily debug this instead of having to, kind of have to spam press R over and over and over, right? Because this is a non-deterministic error. So what we can do instead, right, of this constant, R over and over and over is we can set a breakpoint and set some commands to execute at that breakpoint. And tell our, whenever we hit this breakpoint, tell GDB to just start the program over if we hit this point. So what we can do is we'll go ahead and set a breakpoint at line 28 of our program, right? So before we actually print out our sum here. So what we can do is we can set a breakpoint at line 28 because we're currently inside of our program here. We're inside of, zeroerror.cpp. We can just say break 28 and it will automatically know that we mean, inside of oneerror.cpp at line 28. And then what we can specify are some commands, right? So we can just type commands to put commands for our breakpoint. Now, whenever we hit this breakpoint here on line 28, we just want to run our program over again. So we'll just type run here. And then to say we're done with our commands, we'll type in, right, and press enter. Right, so now if we do info on our breakpoints here, you can see we have a single breakpoint at line 28 of oneerror.cpp. And when we hit this breakpoint, we're just going to rerun our program here. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out. So let's just go ahead and do R to rerun our program. And what we see is that our program will now automatically rerun multiple different times without having us press anything, right? Until we actually hit this error here, right? And right here, this is where our divisor is equal to 0, right? Okay, so that's how we can just automatically set up our program to rerun. We can just say if we hit a certain point, just go ahead and rerun the program, right? We didn't hit our error this time. Okay, now another nice thing about GDB is that we can test, patches or fixes without actually having to recompile our application. So we can just tell GDB to modify some of the values inside of our program instead of, maybe hitting some error. So in this case, we know we have a problem whenever divisor is equal to 0. So let's see if by, hot fixing divisor here and changing its value before we actually, run the code on this line 21, where we're doing this modulo, let's see if that actually fixes our bug inside of our program. So, what we can go ahead and do is we can set another breakpoint here on line 21, but we'll make it a conditional breakpoint. We'll only have a breakpoint here if divisor is equal to 0, right? So if divisor is equal to 0, we'll break at this point. And then we can set some commands. So we can go ahead and type commands here. And then we can say, okay, well, if we hit this point where divisor is equal to 0 on line 21, right? So this is where we're doing this modulo. I want to set divisor to a new value. So I want to set divisor is equal to something like 1, right? Just something that's not equal to 0 here. Then what I want to do is I want to print out, just a simple string like patching divisor with an exclamation point. And then I want the program to continue as normal here, right? So we can go ahead and do that. And then we'll type in to say we're done with our commands. Now, if we go ahead and look at our breakpoints again, so we do info breakpoints, we can see we have one breakpoint for line 28 here. So this is our breakpoint that will rerun our program. And then we have our breakpoint on line 21 here. And it will stop only if divisor is equal to 0. And if divisor is equal to 0, we'll set divisor equal to 1, just some non-zero value. We'll print out patching divisor, and then we'll continue. So let's go ahead and rerun our program with these patches in place. So we'll just do R and then press Y to say restart the program. And we can see now our program no longer crashes here, right? Because we've applied this patch to fix our bug here. So if we go ahead and do something like Control C to go ahead and stop our program from running, we can inspect some of the output here. So every time we hit line 28, this breakpoint, our program just reruns. And every time we hit something like this breakpoint 2 on line 21, we patch our divisor here and we end up seeing this print of patching divisor, right? So we were able to test this this patch on the fly, right? We didn't have to recompile our code and rerun our program here and see if it worked. We just told GDB to fix up the value for us, right, with that conditional breakpoint. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and do it for this time. Some of the basics of how we can debug our programs using GDB. So some very useful things like using backtrace to see kind of a history of how we got to a certain point inside of our program. We can do things like print to print out the value of different variables. We can set breakpoints to say stop at a certain point of our program so we can inspect the surroundings. And we can even set commands for breakpoints and make conditional breakpoints to make debugging a lot easier. Now, like I said, that's going to go ahead and do it for this time. I'll make sure to link this documentation for GDB below the video. And of course, you can find this or any of my other examples at github.com/coffeebeforearch. But that's going to go ahead and do it for today. As always, I'm Nick, and I hope you have a nice day.